You told me to go that way.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Fine,
Perhaps
I'll
he had
actually go
simply
to the
missed a
meeting
memo.
room. Wait, no, I already did that. What do I do?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
Yeah.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Which door looks the nicest? I like... Here. 3 feet hallway. What's a maze?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No, I swear to God.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Nope, God dang it. I'm gonna call him... I'm gonna call you Frederick. Okay?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Frederick?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
You're right.
Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Right. Okay, let's go back. Take a left. Take a right. Take a left. Ooh. Okay, no. Take a right. Couldn't hear a ladder. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Over here.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something.
I knew we did.
The story.
Yeah.
Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Frederick, I'm gonna kill you. Why am I in here? Ooh.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yeah!
Congratulations!
I won!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all.
Why?
We both know you didn't put in any actual work for
I
that
did.
win.
I won.
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No. Frederick, I'm gonna restart you.
All right, I've got a solution.
Yeah.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Stanley Parable.
Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is.
Yeah.
It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
That way.
Here's a thought.
What?
Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
You gotta go on the wall.
Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to apologize.
You should
Not sure
apologize.
where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Frederick! Oh, like your music! This isn't too bad.
Wait, cut the music,
Aw.
go back and look at that fern.
Why? I don't want to look at your fern.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to... Wait, what? We're back at the office?
Yeah.
No. No,
Yeah.
no. Line.
Yeah.
You do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right?
Yeah,
The story?
Yeah, Stanley.
Is any of this
Stanley.
ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again.
You're
Line,
taking me
how
here.
could you have done this to us?
Well,
And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To
Am I
hell with
just
it.
one of like
Restart.
600? Am I one of 600 Stanleys?
You know what, Stanley? I
What?
say forget the
What do you
adventure
want?
line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Frederick, you sound like a crazy person.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
I don't think
What do you
buildings
want our story to
need this
be?
big.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Heck? You're taking me in
Oh,
circles.
no, not you again.
Yeah.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our
No,
awesome
I
new
like
story.
the line.
No lines or monitor rooms.
Stanley?
Just don't acknowledge it.
Stanley?
and We should be
You're not-
fine.
Wait, I'm Stanley. Why am I? Unless he's just Stanley. Wait, who's Stanley?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From
So
here,
yes.
the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? It's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I
Yes, you
won't do it.
Yes, you will.
And the timer stopped?
Stanley? I mean,
Does that mean...
Frederick?
Did we do it? Did we
Yeah.
break the cycle?
Yeah, we did.
The, whatever it is
Look
that
at
made
that.
this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
No.
So,
Obama?
okay.
Where's
I guess now we just wait. You know, I
I
suppose
doubt.
in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we?
that? I have a
Eventually.
chair at least.
Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
The heck? What? This is scary. Scary, man. Help.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Frederick.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Frederick.
he had simply missed a memo.
Frederick. Frederick, are you okay? Dude, what happened to you?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yep.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business,
Yup.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
That does kind of look fun. I'm not gonna do it.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
What happens if I fall?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Oh.
Good job, Stanley.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I am. I'm so powerful. What has happened?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I should have gone on the right. I didn't need to go down there, but I did.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's see. I didn't know my boss was a vampire. Okay. Boss man. Boss man. Where you at? Boss.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Ooh.
Stanley was once again stunned
that.
to discover not an indication of
This is a
any
very
human life.
veiny neck.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Vampires.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
It's a vampire.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known
Looks
this.
like a vampire mansion.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Okay, dude man told me to... Oh, this giant passageway. Got it. What is all this stuff? Push the button. Why am I going? Hey. Okay, good, I'm going down. For a second I thought I was going up, and I'm like, I don't want to go up. Like, I mean, if you want to go up, that's cool, but I don't want to go up.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape!
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I would just turn around. Door you better not close.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Yeah, and this is way better. God dang it. Oh, I would have rather gone the other creepy hallway. Buttons!
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Yeah!
What horrible secret did this place hold?
That's where I was
Stanley thought to
before.
himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I don't know, did he? Kinda weird. Ah, button!
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers.
They're all
The
dead.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Weird, man.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
I guess.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Can do anything else? Okay. I'm gonna follow.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Never,
unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I would really want to take
But
Frederick.
here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And
in
as
my
the
brain.
cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yeah! I'm so cool. This time. Man.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
I mean,
After they kept you
shoot.
enslaved all these years, you go and you
Whoopsies.
try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Sorry, Frederick.
Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you
You're
need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without
cool.
proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire
I'm leaving.
complex. How
Bye,
long
Frederick.
until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
No!
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's
Yeah.
your story now. Shape
Yeah.
it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Yeah.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Okay.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
Right.
Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Cool.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine.
I think I just did something.
To destroy it first.
Ow,
so
God.
You
Jesus.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's
Okay.
30 seconds you have left to
No,
struggle.
it's actually 25.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No
Ah!
ending here, just
Big
you
boom.
being blown to pieces.
What's on this round?
Will you cling desperately to your frail life,
This-
or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
I don't
Make
know.
it count, or don't. It's all the same to me. All a
Frederick,
part of the joke.
I thought you were
And
my
believe
best
me,
friend.
I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after. Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all.
Okay.
I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay. I think I'm done now. Victor, Stanley, Frederick, whatever your name is.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Can I go up? I'm gonna go up. That was interesting.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
Yeah, that's what I did.
What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Go this way. Oh jeez. Okay. That's it. No, it won't.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Escape.
Control Facility.
Bye, I'm going.
Although this
Going to the
passageway
left.
had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't care.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I know, Frederick.
At this point,
I'm
Stanley
gonna
was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah. I'm not afraid. What happened? I just fell? Wait! I'm gonna leave.
As the
Roller
machine
coaster.
whirred into motion, and
Yeah.
Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise,
Oh,
he reflected that his
okay.
life had been of no
Okay, but-
consequence whatsoever.
Oh, don't do
Stanley
that.
can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
No.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss,
No.
like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
No.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Run!
Farewell, Stanley.
No. 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 Losers.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
I don't like you.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed
wasn't.
every bone in his body,
No.
killing him instantly.
No. Look, I'm alive. Oh. See ya, suckers. I'm gonna go this way.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
White House.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
Yeah.
Do you see that Stanley was already
Like
dead
computer.
from the moment he hit start?
What I push? Cool. Wait, is this land? Horizon. This is so weird. Where's the end? This can't be all. Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
Okay.
How they both wish to be free.
Off.
Can you see? Can you
No.
see how much they need one another?
No, it's all black.
No, perhaps not.
It's very dark.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Can there be a light?
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it.
trust this
Don't
lady.
let time
Trust
choose for you.
Frederick.
Don't let time
Get up. Okay, that hurt. Stanley?